Hello and welcome to Working with What You Got. I'm your host, Renee Joshua Porter, and I am so excited that you decided to join us today. Remember, our show is all about you realizing that you have more than you think you have. You have more time. You have more talent, you have more resources, you have more people on your side, you have more faith, you have more creativity, you have more food, and it is time for you to unknot your mind. Take those knots out about what you can't do or what you're not able to accomplish because you have more than you think you have. Well, we're going to start our show like we do every week, and we are going to cook. So guess what we're going to cook? Well, if you happen to be from Caribbean descent like I am, Easter symbolizes, of course, about our faith, our Christianity faith, and the resurrection of Jesus, but also it means bun. West Indians eat bun at Easter time. So I started thinking about it because I have some serious bun makers in my family. My mother, my mom, but they are very territorial and very secretive when it comes to their recipe. So I was driving and I was thinking, okay, I need a working with what you got recipe for Easter bun. And I got it. I got it. It got downloaded right there on Sunrise Highway. I got it. What I was able to do is get, you know how you have the Pillsbury biscuits? Pillsbury biscuits, self-rising flour, dried fruit, raisins, burnt sugar. They use the burnt sugar for coloring, and vanilla. Mix it all together with a little milk. And I brought the ingredients here today. But guess what I forgot on my way hustling and bustling? I forgot the biscuits. So you're just going to have to imagine that the biscuits are here, okay? So what we did was we took a cup of the self-rising flour. We'll put it in here. We use half a cup of the dried fruit. We use our burnt sugar, which is a very West Indian thing. It's just inverted sugar that's used for coloring. Because bun has to have a nice brown color to it. Now, it depends on what island you deal with. A lot of times with some of the Jamaicans, they use their bun is more dense, is more almost cake-like. It has a very molasses flavor. But the bun that we use, the one that we enjoy, it's more of a bread consistency, and it's delicious. Okay, so we have our burnt sugar. I used 1 box of raisins, the little individual boxes, which is equivalent to half a cup of raisins. Put that in there. And then at this point, I would have taken my biscuits. I used the whole thing, the whole sleeve of the biscuits. I opened them and I mixed it together. Can you see it? We're dealing with different cameras today, so usually you'd be able to see inside of the bowl. Then what I used is, I don't do dairy, so I always have coconut milk or almond milk. I poured in a little coconut milk. I'm using my gloves because it really is a very messy thing. So this is the color that your batter is going to look like. And just imagine you have your biscuits in there. Look at that. This is the making of a serious bun. This is legitimate. This is not an imposter. This is not a counterfeit. This is a real bun. So you're going to mix it up. Nice. And then at that point, it will be more than this. What I did is instead of greasing a pan, I got a loaf pan, individual loaf pan, took our parchment paper, sat it in here, and I spread it out in the loaf pan. Spread it out here. So I'm going to take off my gloves. And let me show you how it came out. Look. Look at my bun. It's legitimate. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. See, bun is thick, and usually you may put a little butter on it and cheese. You need bun and cheese. You can't have bun without your cheese. Look at that. Delicious. Now I have a tester. You know we have testers every week. And this week, I'm going to ask Milani to be my tester because she's grown up on bun. So she knows when bun is legitimate and it's not. Come on, Milani. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you one thing. I got to move over. They're telling me that I'm off camera. Come on in, Milani. You got to come in close. Come in close. The last thing I wanted to tell you was once I put the loaf inside the pan, I took a half of tablespoon of sugar. And then what I did, I took the sugar along with 1 egg white, mixed them together, whisked them, and then I put it on top of the loaf and baked it on 375 for 45 minutes. Again, I took the sugar, the egg whites, mixed them together, made a nice little glazy wash, put it on top of the loaf, and baked it on 375 for 45 minutes to an hour. You have to keep checking it. You really want it to cook slowly because it's dense. So you don't want one part to be gooey and another part to be cooked. So you have to keep testing it, but it came out delicious. All right, Milani, you got to come close so they can hear you. Mike is here. Okay, I need you to taste it. All right, here you go. Be merciful with your mama. Be merciful.
It's good.
Is it a bun?
This is real bun.
It's a real bun. It's a real bun. It's a real bun, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what are some of the things that you associate bun with? What are the flavors with bun?
Dried fruit.
Dried fruit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Raisin.
And soft, but not too soft.
Okay, so dried fruit, soft but not too soft.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All it needs is some butter.
All it needs is some butter. So I'm telling you, we have a working with what you got bun. Use your little Pillsbury ready-made biscuit. Add your self-rising flour, your dried fruit, raisins, burnt sugar, vanilla, a little milk. Work it together. It's a messy mixture. Put it in your loaf pan with parchment. At the end, what you're going to do is make your wash with your eggs and with your sugar, brush it on top, 375, 45 minutes. And you have a legitimate bun. Bun, bun, bun. Do you hear that, Ma? You don't have to tell me your recipe. I got my own working with what you got recipe. Na, 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 poo, poo. And we'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our 2 offices. Thank you.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful frame prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this, you'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue Tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
Hi, and welcome to Working with What You Got's Rant of the Week, where I will rant about various topics that concern me. So I've just been thinking a lot about relationships. I, like most 22-year-olds, we think about love, about relationships, about how romantic comedies and romantic films kind of shape the way we see relationships, and it's not really realistic. And I just feel like most of my generation has taken 2 approaches. Either you date someone, then date another person, then date another person, and you keep disposing of them until you find the quote-unquote one, or you hang on to dear life unto a relationship or a person that is toxic and not good for you. And I just really don't like either approach. I think there has to be a balance between the 2. There has to be a way to have a healthy, happy relationship without giving your whole heart and whole soul to every single person that shows interest in you. And there also has to be a way to know when to walk away from a bad situation. And the truth is that most of my generation hasn't seen happy, healthy marriages or relationships because many of us, our parents are either separated or divorced, or we were raised in a single-parent home, so we don't really know how to be in a healthy, supportive, encouraging, loving relationship. And it just really concerns me and it bothers me. So, I don't know, that's just what's on my mind for today. I just want to see happier relationships. I want to see better displays of love for men and for young men and young women. And that's just what's on my mind for today. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Thank you so much, Mooks. There's a lot on her mind, right? Well, I wanted to give a different aspect of working with what you got today. A lot of times we talk about our food, we talk about relationships, we talk about family, we talk about parenting, and we've even done wardrobe. But I was thinking about how often we spend money unnecessarily, always wanting to buy something new. Well, I had this dress. The dress was a purple dress. I've had it for a couple of years. It's a type of dress that I always keep in my closet because whether I lose weight or I gain weight, it always fits. It's very flattering. It has a belt that gives in and gives out. But I was looking at the dress and I was thinking, I'm kind of tired of it because it's kind of dead. It's purple. And I just wanted something that felt more like spring, was more vibrant and more colorful. So we're going to switch over and Jim is going to show you what the dress looked like. Can you see it? Do we have it up on the camera, Jim? Yes? Okay. So that's the dress. It's a simple purple dress, as you can see it. Now, Jim, show them the next shot. The next shot is what I did was I took the dress and I took a corner of the dress and I took a rubber band and I put it around the corner of the dress. Then what I did is I took the belt and I put knots in the belt. Then from there, I took a basin, a big basin of hot water and bleach. And I did the old-fashioned tie-dye. Took the dress, put it inside of the basin with the bleach, and I wouldn't suggest you did this, but this is just me. I put a little bit of peroxide in there just to give it a little kick. And I sat the dress in there, rubber band on the shoulder, knots in the belt, left it in there overnight. And voila, this is what we have. Isn't that nice? I have a new dress. Pink is in, yellow is in, all the nice bright colors, and I didn't spend anything. See, I'm telling you, you have more clothes than you think you have more time, you have more talent, you have more creativity. It's possible as long as you take the knots out of your mind. Do you like my dress? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Simple, and you can do it too. Bring back the art of the tie-dye and expand your wardrobe. Okay? And we'll be right back after this.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
Dad, where do babies come from?
Well, there's Dad's big, shiny rocket ship. That's right, it's filled with babies of all kinds. And when the shiny rocket ship penetrates, Mommy and Dad goes, and when the time is just right, there's a space launch.
All systems go.
Babies of all kinds. Released all over the place. Yeah, Africa. Mommy's Babylandia. That's right, it's filled with babies. After an amazing 9 months, babies. And that, son, is where babies come from.
But Jake said babies come from
Planet Babylandia.
You go, play with us on the bus.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. Wheels on the bus go round and round, all through.
Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware.
We have 3 of the largest showrooms of safes on display and in stock. You can see and touch them in person instead of browsing a catalog. We carry gun and rifle safes, burglary safes, jewelry safes, fire rated from a half hour to 2 hour. Famous name brands.
We sell Guardall.
We sell AMSAC.
The new AMSAC touchscreen.
If you're ever in need of a safe, think Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware. Right, Lockie?
That's right, Alan.
Hello, and we are back. You have tuned in to Working with What You Got. I'm your host, Renee Joshua Porter, and I am so excited with the guest that I have today. Milani said something very interesting during her rant. She mentioned about how rare it is to really see supportive, loving, lasting marriages and how we need to see more of that. And she's very, very right. And the reason that I've invited these 2 guests on, because they symbolize so many things to me. Just real support, friendship, respect, consistency, and they let you know just by observing them. To me, I feel like they live their life out loud. And they're a volume that a lot of people are able to glean from and to read. And they are Mr. and Mrs. Eugene Burnett. They have been married 63 years. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I finally got you here. And I want you to share some wisdom, some nuggets with our audience. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you met. Who wants to do that?
Well, I guess I'll start.
Okay.
And as usual, she'll guide me as I go along. We met as teenagers. I have my instructions. I can't tell you how we really met because that's a long story And my grandchildren got tired of hearing it, the whole thing about marbles and losing them and seeing her. But let me just say this. We were raised in East Harlem. So we would call ourselves ghetto children. And we met when I was 13 and she was 12. I happened to see her, and we met, and well, let me say that because some people have a problem with being involved at 13 and 12.
Explain, please.
But we met as children, and we did the things children do. We stuck together. We had our we got married at 21 and 20. We had our first child at 25 and 24. And as I tell my granddaughters, if you can do it like that, I'm all for it. At any rate, we met. We were living in the ghetto. We decided because of circumstances and conditions in East Harlem, that's where we're from. And let me also mention that we have a similar cultural background in that we're from the Caribbean, and our parents were Virgin Islanders. Her parents were born in St. Thomas and mine in St. Croix. And both of our parents were Danish citizens when they were born. America bought the American Virgin Islands from Denmark in 1917, and they became citizens then. That's why they were able to come here to New York freely, seeking a better life.
So let me just ask you, I don't mean to interrupt. You said you saw her at 12. She was 12 and you were 13.
Yes.
So when you saw her, did you see, this is my friend, or did you see, ooh, who is that?
Well, I didn't see anything. I just saw a face, and I saw her, and that was it. She was just another girl. And then another day, we were in we lived in East Harlem, and there was a market there on Park Avenue. It was a integrated community. There were all kinds of people living there, Jews, Irish, blacks were in the minority. In those days, it was before the Hispanics really came to inhabit the community. And one day I was in the market and I saw her. And I said, I know you because I saw you one day before. And she decided to run from me. And as I have told this story, I had my marbles in my pocket because I had a big day. And as I was chasing her, I lost all my marbles, and I never caught her. And as she got away from me, I hollered, I'll see you again.
So Miss B, why'd you run?
Well, at 12 years old, you know, in elementary school, most little boys are not nice. You know, they don't know how to behave. So at that point in life, you're just girls, you know. So what do you mean? Come here for what? You know, why? So I decided I'm getting out of here.
You know, I remember it as if it was yesterday. You remember those clip-clap shoes?
No, I have no
you don't
idea.
remember that? And I could hear them going, and I couldn't catch her, and that angered me.
She was too fast.
She was too fast. And so that's the way it began.
Of where we are now.
Okay. So how many children and grandchildren do you have?
We have 3 children.
We had 3 children. Our
6.
first child was born.
Yeah, never mind that.
Go
anyway,
ahead, B.
We have 3 children. We had 6 grandchildren. Unfortunately, 12 years ago, we lost our first born grandson. And now we have 5. And as far as great-grands, we have 2. We have a boy and a girl.
Wow.
Well, but that doesn't that doesn't tell it all. My wife doesn't like the idea, feel like you're bragging. But of our 3 children, we were ghetto kids. And she finished high school and I didn't. And I went into the service. I was 17 years old. And before I went, I told her, wait for me. Okay? She graduated from high school, and that was one of the attractions I had to her, in that she went to school. She never missed a day in school from K to her last day in high school. And she graduated from Central Commercial High School. And, you know, in the ghetto, that was a big deal to me.
An accomplishment.
It was an accomplishment, and I respected her for that. And it paid off in the end. Because I would not be here today. Men don't like to hear me say that if it were not for her.
Well, we were there for each other, let's put it that way. There's no doubt about that.
At any
It
rate,
can't be that one-sided, that one is doing more than the other. You try to mesh. That should be your goal in being able to be with each other, enjoy each other, take the good with the bad, you know, and that's what life is all about.
so these 2 unleaded young people, we produced, our son is a licensed architect. Our oldest daughter is a medical doctor, and our youngest daughter is a New York State licensed pharmacist. We have 5 grandchildren, and one has a, let's see, who's the oldest? Eugene. He has a bachelor's degree. The next,
His sister's next.
sister's next. She has a master's in education. The next one is Naya. She has a master's in hospital administration. The next granddaughter has a master's degree
Ooh, we got a caller. We got a caller. Yes?
in biomedical engineering.
Hold on one second, Mr. B. I'm just learning how to do this. What do I press? The happy face? Thank you for calling, caller. Do you have a question?
I'd like to talk to the beautiful couple. They're absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Do you have a question for them?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to ask my question to this fantastic couple. Thank you for calling, caller. Oh, this couple is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness. I just wish I could hug them. They're just so beautiful. I have a question though. Okay, go ahead. My husband and I have been a couple for 32 years. We were high school sweethearts. And now our family, they're starting their own family. So it's not really empty nest syndrome, but it's more like, what do we do now in the next 32 years of our life?
That's an easy answer to that question. Go on 35 cruises. Get to know each other.
Because there's a lot of world to see, and
it's a lot of world, right? And it wasn't a question of money. We slept in the worst rooms that you can find on the ship, but we were together, and we had a great time. We've been all over the world. That's what you do. You get into each other again. You rediscover what you originally found in each other. That's what you need to do.
How do you like that, caller? Does that answer your question?
I think it's fantastic. My husband and I are actually listening together. I'm going to ask him, do you think it's fantastic that we like go on a cruise and discover each other all over again?
Yes.
Like the very first time.
Thank you so much, caller. You have a good night. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, and God bless you, all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great, Mr. B. That was great advice. Rediscover each other all over again. That's really good because you change.
There's no doubt.
You change.
And you've had a lot of experience, many years in raising children and maintaining where you are in order to make them productive citizens, you know. So now you've got that platform. You don't have that extra people to take care of never. Now we can just take care of each other.
Got another caller. All right.
You're different people.
Thank you for calling, caller. You have a question for our guest?
I don't have a question. I just want to say something to them.
Okay. Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Hello?
Go ahead.
I just want to say.
Okay, go ahead. You have to turn down your volume.
I don't have a question.
We're getting feedback.
Something to them. I just want to say, finish each other. I just want to say how they finish each other's sentence. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say.
Okay. I can't. Caller, can you hear me?
Tell her to turn the radio down.
Caller, you have to turn down your radio. You have to turn down the volume on your computer or whatever you're listening to. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say how they finish each other's sentence.
They were saying, okay, the caller is saying how you guys have been together so long that you finish each other's sentence, how you mesh. It's like one person talking. You've heard that before, right? Well, I've been around you and I've seen you do it all the time. Okay, hold on. Hello. Hello, do you have a question for our guest? Thanks for calling.
Yes, I do. I wanted to know whether or not she works in conjunctions with any of the public schools along with her daycare. Does she work in conjunction with them? Like, does she offer her services, like, to go into the local school districts and so forth like that? Or does she have children that have special needs, like ADHD?
Okay,
unfortunately, still be filtered into her learning facility.
Hello? Caller?
Hello? Hello?
Caller?
Yes.
Okay, we have our guests here. I'm not quite understanding. I don't know if you've seen the guests that we have today. They're Mr. and Mrs. Burnett, and they've been married 62 years. They're talking about love and marriage. Do you have a question for them in regards to that?
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, it's for the guest system now. Okay, yes, I'm talking, yes, I would like to know whether or not, what are some of the challenges for external influences on their marriages, on their marriage? How did they overcome external influences in their marriages to keep it strong for 62 years?
Ooh. Well, I would think, first of all, you've got to keep on your toes in seeing what the surroundings that you might be in from time to time, what kind of an effect they have on you. And really, that's what it's all about, because you're not getting any instructions or anything. It's just your gut feeling within you.
Well, I think that you have to have something that's more important than you in your life. And for us, it was our children. You know, I heard a woman say the other day, she said, they asked her, how did you have such a long-term marriage? And she said, well, we never fell out of love at the same time.
Oh, I love that.
You know,
yeah, that's a good one.
There's something my wife says to me all the time, that marriage is a journey. And it's a long, long, long journey. And there are a lot of adjustments that you have to make because life is an ever-changing process. You're changing and your environments are changing and so forth. So you have to adapt to all of that, but you have to maintain your commitment to each other. And your children keep that commitment going. But the other thing I heard someone say the other day, that your children are your report card.
Exactly.
That's your report card.
So you got an A+.
Okay.
You have an A+. You know, that is so, wow.
Well, you know, I think I don't want to be a promoter for Dr. Phil, but he really inspires me so much Because so often you look like you want a manual to work with when so many things are so simple. Like he says, the way you treat your children makes them who they are. So you have to be constantly keep in mind what kind of people are you raising? And I feel that was a big part. It helps you to be who you are, and it helps them because you're taking care of them with a lot of love, attention, and all that comes with it.
Now, Miss B, you said something that leads me into my other question. When you guys talk about how you met, you came from the same community. You also came from similar culture.
Yeah.
So those similarities are a great platform for friendship
No doubt.
and for relationship. So many times, just even taking the day and times now, you see people with internet dating or, are people really taking the time to get to know each other? And what happens if you meet someone? Because now you can create a persona on the computer, right?
Exactly.
I can create a career, I can create a family, I can create a whole facade of who I am. And what happens where you meet somebody, you're now in a marriage and you find out this person is not who you thought they were. Or you find out you really don't know them. I've heard a lot of different times people feel wow, we're growing apart, or he's not who I thought he was, or she's not who I thought she was. What do you do then when this bump in the road happens and you say, I've committed now and I don't know what I've committed to? Because you're saying it's for the long haul. How does someone get past that?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
How do you get past that? I think there's a lot that has to be done with communication. I think a lot of people, they don't speak to each other. They kind of go off on their own way. And I think each one needs to make an effort to say, we need to do this or that at this point in time. That's one of the things that I thought we used, because other than that, you can run it in a ditch. And that's not your aim. So I think it's all in thought process. Because I think a lot of people just seem to go through just without any thought in how they do things. But I always felt that I thought a lot about how I approach something.
See,
Well,
that's very interesting.
Well, first thing I think that before you get to that stage and state, that you need to give people time, give the person time for you to get to know them. But after you've given it the proper amount of time and you know the person, what are they? Are they an axe murderer? I mean, there's certain, there are certain
non-negotiables.
behaviors on
Right.
the part of the person that's a no-no.
Right.
A drop-dead end
Right.
to the
Yeah.
situation.
Of course.
But most of the other things that you're finding out that you don't know who they are simplistic nonsense. Okay? And, we have a way that we look at the grass is green on the other side. How many times in my life have I seen men who can't live with this woman, and then they turn around the second wife and they marry the same woman, the same type of woman. You see that over and over again. All the things he complained about the first wife is a part of the second wife. All right. So I think it's a question, as we said, it's a journey. And stick with it, work it out. The grass is not green on the other side. It's just as green on this side of the fence. Learn to, this whole idea of forgiveness, that's something that, who's that says that about Bishop J.T. Jakes? Says, forgive your husband like you would forgive your son. And then marriage is well.
That's a tough one.
That's good. That's good. That's a good one. All right. I'm going to get a T-shirt that says that. That's good. That's You know what I love that you said? You both have, oh my gosh. something that you said, Mr. B, you said taking time to know each other. I have a friend that's divorced, and one time I asked her to speak to another friend of mine that was going through some challenges with her husband, and I felt like I was too close to the friend to really give advice. So I said, you know what, speak to a friend of mine that's gone through a divorce. And my divorced friend looked at my friend that was going through problems, and I said, what would you do differently? She said, I wish I had waited for him to grow up.
Yeah, that's a good
Wasn't
one.
that beautiful?
Very much so.
She said, if I had just waited for him to grow up.
And that's what we need to tell our daughters. See, one of the questions is, who matures first?
Yes.
Well, little girls grow up with dolls and life issues. They're changing diapers, they're nurturing the doll and so forth. And boys are throwing a ball through a hoop. Okay? So now, who's going to mature faster if that's their orientation in life?
Right.
Okay? Let these little boys grow up before you put all these heavy issues on them, all the heavy stuff of marriage and so forth and so on. Let them grow up.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, I was telling the story of the play I took my daughters to see, where it was in the schoolyard, the play, and the boy was playing basketball, and the little girl was standing at the fence watching him be the star and so forth. And she was just saying, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh, I love you, and I love you. And she just was going on like that. And he just looked at her at one point and he said, listen, all I want to do is play a little basketball.
Ease up, ease up. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. You know what happens? So many times you find so many women equate their identity on whether or not they are in a relationship or whether they're married, and it's wrong.
You have to be a person.
You have to be a person by
before
yourself.
you can.
Yeah, and it's okay,
else.
and there's no
And
time
know who
period.
you are.
Right. So if you're now 40 or 30 or even 45, so what? You're still growing. Whatever's for you is for you. And so many times we do spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to what's going on with the other person.
Well, I had this discussion once with my oldest daughter, Karen. We were having this discussion. And I was telling her about the Spencer the doll and the basketball and so forth. So I asked her whether I should buy my grandson a doll. And she looked at me, she said, no. While we agreed that there was a gap in terms of this, she said, no.
Yeah, she said, no.
No, it's not. We weren't there either.
We'll be right back after this commercial.
Okay.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful framed prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Okay, we are back. I wish we had 2 hours. We're getting ready to wrap it up, but we have Mr. and Miss Eugene Burnett. We have Eugene Burnett and Bernice Burnett. They've been married for 63 years. They are dropping all kind of nuggets to us on marriage and longevity and just wisdom, tried and tested wisdom. And during our break, we had a caller. Caller is still here. Oh, and I'm Renee Joshua Porter, by the way. Our caller is here. And caller, real quick, tell the question that you just asked our couple, please. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Can you ask your question real quick, please?
Yes. Now at 60, should a man be grown with grandkids? Should he have already been grown up at 60?
Okay. And Mr. B, what did you say?
Well, some of us never grow up, but you chose this individual to have children with, and you have to take some kind of acceptance or whatever in that situation. The idea is to be happy, and you're not going to be happy as long as you're as critical of him as you are. You've got to find a way to meet him at his level and be happy and work with him. Work with what you have.
Oh, you better go ahead, Mr. B. I love it. He pulled the theme right in there. And Miss B, you got to share what you just said. You said a little thing that was really true.
I was saying that we need to be very cautious of what we say to each other. Even in the heat of an argument, try to control. Because, you know, we talk about forgiving and forgetting. If you work hard at it, it's kind of easy to forgive. But so many things you could never forget, and you just carry them through. And you need to decide which way you want to go.
Excellent.
And I mean, I don't know the gentleman you're talking about, but who knows what his journey was like? I mean, that's something that has to be taken into consideration. He may be doing the best that he can. So honor him for that, accept that. Meet him at his level and be happy.
Beautiful. Well, let me tell you, I could talk to these two people all the time. They have no idea how important they are in my life. I talk about them all the time. I love them, and they're only here because they love me too. Before we leave, we always like to end with a story, and I wanted to share a real quick story. One time, my husband and I had fallen asleep in the living room in the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden we woke up out of our sleep because there was this really terrible smell. We're like, what is that? What is that smell? And this was probably maybe about 8 years ago, and our youngest son, Elliot, was probably about 4 years old, and he was standing down in the living room near us, and we could see that Elliot had some type of stomach issue, and he had had an accident on himself. So my husband gets up. Elliot had had number 2 all over himself, and he had diarrhea. My husband gets up and he takes him and he puts him in the shower. I go now with my bleach and I have my paper towels, and I'm cleaning up the floor. I'm cleaning up the steps. I'm at the landing. I'm going up the next set of steps. I'm at that landing. I trace it all the way to Elliot's bed. I'm cleaning everything because I don't play around with E. coli, and I'm just cleaning everything up. I'm the germphobe. Keith has him cleaned. He has him dressed. Everything is sparkling, but I still smell something. What is that smell? So now Keith and I are on hands and knees. We're looking all over the place. What's the smell? What's the smell? Elliot, what's the smell? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm smelling, and all of a sudden I end up at the hamper by his room. And I'm smelling. I dig down in the hamper, and there are his first set of soiled clothes at the bottom of the hamper. The clothes that we saw were his second set. Elliot had an accident before the accident that we saw, and he was so afraid that he would get in trouble, he had pushed it to the bottom of the hamper because he thought he was going to get in trouble. And we were like, no, Papa, you'll never get in trouble for having an accident on yourself. And I looked at him and I said, Ellie, let me tell you something. You can never hide poop. Poop has a way of telling on itself. I don't care if you put a whole bunch of clothes on top of it. It will always smell. And that's how it is with envy and unforgiveness. I don't care how you smile. I don't care how you dress it up. I don't care how you push it all the way down. If you spend your time looking at somebody else's relationship and thinking that you got a bad deal, or thinking that you missed out or you made a mistake, it will smell. There will be a stench that other people will be able to see. So you have to make up your mind that the mess that exists, you're going to clean it up, you're going to wash it up, and you're going to forget about it as much as you can. And like Mr. B said, you're just going to learn to be happy. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, free your mind, and the rest will follow. See you next week.